Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to present my paper, which is titled Green Technological Change After Natural Disasters, Evidence from Heritage Treatment. The motivation, starts with the importance of green innovation. But scientific evidence indicates that climate change is leading to more natural disasters. So green innovation is very crucial for addressing environmental and climate challenges. However, the production process of green innovation still remains a black box. Particularly, there is a limited research on effects of natural environments on green innovation. For example, whether natural disasters could inspire more green innovation. On the other hand, individual inventors with specialized expertise, they usually collaborate and contribute to the production process. The existing literature finds that disruptions like collaborator deaths usually decrease survivors' general innovation output. But little is known about disruptions like natural disasters affect how they affect individual inventors' green innovation output. Specifically, are green and non-green innovations affected differently? This paper focuses on the context of Hurricane Katrina, which is a quasi-natural experiment, and it is also the costliest and one of the deadliest storms in the US history. I focus on patents data to study innovation. The research design relies on a standard diff-in-diff combined with a one-to-one exact matching. I compare treatment group, which are inventors in the areas affected by Katrina, and the control group, they are inventors in the areas not affected by Katrina, but they are similar to treatment group before Katrina. The results show that Katrina had differential effects on inventors. Specifically, it reduced inventors' green patent production, while non-green patents remained unaffected. So why did Katrina have differential effects on inventors? I focus on the mechanism of knowledge diversity, but I also consider the alternative channel, the role firms play behind the differential effects. So I draw from the past literature, which finds that green innovation draws on knowledge from a wider range of technological areas. So from here, I argue that inventors in a green innovation team, they often possess a wider range of technological expertise. So if a natural disaster event strikes one individual inventor, it will be harder to substitute so as to continue this affected inventor's technological tasks. So to make it more concrete, I have an example of a green and non-green patent. The left-hand side one is a green innovation patent, which is about a solar panel. The right-hand side one is a general invention in the sector of semiconductor devices. And here, I'm going to show you the team structures of the two patent teams. So I use this cooperative patent classification, 4 digits, to denote an inventor's technological expertise. The left-hand side one is about the green patent team, and we can see they have quite different technological backgrounds. And the right-hand side one is a non-green patent team. We can see all of them share exactly the same technological expertise. Of course, this is an illustration example. I have also produced a quantitative evidence. And just imagine if a natural disaster strikes inventor 1 in the patent team. So it would be harder for collaborators in this green patent team to substitute and continue the inventor 1's technological tasks. Alternatively,
Excuse me, is this this pattern systematic? You say you're going to show quantitative.
yeah, I have, but if I have time, I'm not sure whether I have time to show those details, but if you want
Is there
to
an
know.
explanation for green pattern has this theme invented structure compared to others?
Sorry,
Is there an explanation for that, for this?
you mean why?
Yes.
So far as I read from literature, I don't have a very concrete explanation, but that's the factor like the existing literature defines. Yeah.
Okay.
Just related, if the key mechanism is individual disruption, wouldn't like death of a green inventor be a cleaner shot to test the hypothesis relative to non-green?
You mean inventor death?
Yeah,
I
replicate it.
Well, I don't have the data, but if I have the data, I would like to investigate that more. But I think one thing is I checked the treatment control group, like the end of their the year of their last patents, and I don't find a significant difference there.
And just thinking also from Azale's paper, you should be able to have your data on.
I don't have the data for it. I hope I can have it, but I use the patent data. So all I have is their patenting history. And then for the last patent, the year, I don't find a significant difference between treatment and control group. Yeah. Yes, so alternatively, I have also considered the role that firms play in the differential effects, and the evidence does not support the hypothesis that firms drive the differential effects. And overall, I think my paper suggests that climate change could hinder the development of green innovation, particularly through natural disasters. And secondly, knowledge diversity may compromise the resilience of technological development in the face of disruptions.
Very quickly as we go on, what should we have in mind as the innovations that you imagine would follow from a natural disaster? Because the claim on climate change is a bit wider than
Yes.
there's a hurricane and then there's no more green
Of course,
innovation,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Do we expect that there's a hurricane and then everyone's working on to how to decrease hurricanes? Or do you have in mind a system where I see a hurricane, I know that there's more natural disasters of any sorts and I might want to work on all of them?
Purely from my paper, the evidence I have is just Hurricane Katrina reduced the production of Ventus production of green patents. So beyond this, I think my paper just to indicate that there's a possibility that climate change with more and more natural disasters may have larger effects there.
Well, but it could go the other way as well, because maybe on a hurricane, I don't know how to produce technology that fully works at reducing it, or maybe it's technology that already exists. A lot of the issues with Katrina was the housing quality was simply abysmal. But this is not about patents, this is about using technology we already have. Whereas for other natural disasters or, for heat and the likes or for energy, we have plenty of potential on innovation. So I'd be a bit careful with that claim, especially if you don't sort of have a story of what else am I going to invest in now that there's been a shock.
Yes, please.
Similar comment here, so
Yeah.
are you saying that green innovation is more impacted? So if I was oil and gas researcher and I'm hit by Hurricane Katrina,
Yes.
my innovation is also hindered. So is there anything specific on green innovator, or it's just, so because the claim you say is climate change caused less green innovation, maybe you use green in your group, but the external balances perhaps reduce innovation.
What do you mean specifically?
You have, my understanding,
Yes.
you have some people that do patent that are green, and the people that were patent were gray, and they were hurt by Hurricane Katrina. They will also produce less research.
My mechanism here is about the production process. So it is like the structure, how you produce green versus how you produce non-green, they are different. And that the difference leads to the differential effects of the Hurricane Katrina on inventors' production of innovation. Yeah.
Because
Maybe
yes, sorry.
Yeah. Well, we let you explain the treatment then.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks for the questions. So next I'm going to introduce the details of my imperial design and also the main results. So I focus on this specific event, Hurricane Katrina, which is a quasi-natural experiment providing us quasi-exogenous variation in inventors' exposure to disruption. And it is quite significant in the US history. It is the costliest hurricane, which resulted in $200 billion monetary loss. And also it is the second deadliest since 1930, which led to 1,833 lives lost. And so the two pictures also show the damage by Katrina. The left-hand side one is the housing damage in residential areas. The right-hand side one shows a research center that got flooded because of the Hurricane Katrina. And also it's quite relevant to today as climate change leads to more intense natural disasters. Particularly hurricanes are getting stronger and much more destructive. I use these shadows data, which provide detailed information about county location and property losses related to Hurricane Katrina. So I can identify the spatial distribution of counties with property damage from Katrina. The two graphs show counties affected by Katrina. The left-hand side one is a Katrina pass, and right-hand side one, it shows the spatial distribution of counties. We can see the counties affected by Katrina, they mainly cluster in the south areas around the Katrina path. And this is a patent data file. So they provide very detailed information about inventors and their location, and also the technological classification for this invention. So I gathered the data from PatentView, which is the data platform supported by USPTO, and they provide very detailed information, including at inventor level, disambiguated data on individual identities, and also geocoded data on location. So I can identify the spatial distribution of inventors at the US county level. And then at patent level, they provide information of this CPC classification, which helps me identify green patents. Green patents are defined in this research is defined as the patents with the YO2 class. YO2 class means technologies or applications for mitigation or adaptation against climate change. And
Can I ask a quick question on that?
Yes.
Is there some way to identify, I'm just trying to think about the mechanism that you posit. Is there some way to quantify sort of substitutability amongst the classifications? Sorry, I've used the wrong terminology, but the H10L or whatever it was, the different in your little figure with the triangles. Is there some way to one would think if the mechanism is coming through this kind of diversification, that if the affected category, notwithstanding what the other attached categories are, is easier to substitute in some way. There are more similar categories, or there's a larger market for that sort of innovation. Or so, is there some measure in this data that would allow you to test that? That would potentially strengthen your story if you find that it's stronger for less.
Yeah. So that's in the later part, but I'm not sure I have the time to show you. But basically, I follow the literature to measure inventors' expertise and also to measure the distance between two inventors' technological expertise. Is that what you?
That's within your links, as I understand it.
Yes,
What I'm asking about is, can you measure their distance to other possible substitutes that they could use? We can talk about it afterwards.
Thank you.
Related to this, I understand these are repeated cross sections of inventors. So, but what you want is a panel of inventors, right? So that if many relocated because their center closed down or their house burnt up, they didn't want to stay in New Orleans anymore. So, they moved elsewhere. So you shift their expertise away from the firms that are local, but you'd want to see that in panel data for inventor location. I think that would be a good data set to investigate your market. Isn't that?
It's possible to identify migrant inventor, and Are you trying to say when they move, like migrated after the shock, they change their?
There's vulnerability that is concrete, you know, that they're not simply around anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
because of this O-ring aspect of innovation, you know, doesn't happen so much.
Yes, I will show you soon, like if they are migrant inventor, but at around the time of Katrina, if they were affected or in that South area, then they would be in my sample of, they would be my treatment group here. So because I identify treatment inventors based on like, they have a I can show you, yes, yeah. Yes, so next is my sample construction. So the treatment groups, it is defined as inventors who filed patents in 2004 or in 2005 before 25th August, which is the date of first landfall, and also when Katrina first became hurricane status, with a recorded address in one of the South counties with property damage from Katrina. And my potential control inventors, they are those who filed patents in the same period with recorded address in South counties, but without property damage from Katrina. And concern here is the treated inventors. They might be on different patent trajectory than the potential control inventors. So I rely on this one-to-one exact matching method to address that further. I focus on 3 observables at inventor level. The first one is the year of first patent filing to control for the peer effect in terms of the patenting experience. And second and third one, they are 2 stock variables. They are accumulative patent count by 2005 and also accumulative number of green patents by 2005. That led to I have 4,630 pals, less than 10,000 inventors of well-matched treatment and control inventors. And here is the geographical distribution of my treatment control inventors. The left-hand side one is treatment, and they may be clustered in the counties affected.
Sorry, so is the observation and the individual inventors?
Yes.
I thought that the story was about, you know, a team that had to be composed in a more diverse way with greenness. But
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
My unit is at inventor level, and for the team, I hope I hope I have the data to, you know, follow a team like when they form and until they, you know, fully produce something out. But the data, like they will only, the data I can only trace the patent, which is like, it's the final stage, like it's already produced there. So and also the team, the team concept is changed over, like for different people, we all have different collaborators. So therefore I focus on the inventor level. And then the control inventors, they are spread out through in the south areas. So here is the overall trend for my sample inventors patent production. The left-hand side axis is for all and green patents. Right-hand side one is for green patents. And the blue lines for all patents, red lines for non-green, green lines for green patents. I have 3 points to stress here. The first one, green patents grew faster than non-green patents. And then the trend of all patents and non-green patents, they are similar, as the majority of all patents is non-green patents. And there is a mechanical spike in 2004 and 5 that is because of the sample selection based on the patent applications in 2004 and 5. Yeah, and here is the green innovation for treatment control group. So before 2005, treatment and control group, they are quite similar in terms of the green patent production. Despite the one-to-one the matching is based on the stock variables. After Katrina, and we can see this divergence between treatment and control group, and the control group is above treatment group. And then it's the green patents. Still before Katrina, the treatment control, they are quite similar. However, after Katrina, we can't see such a big divergence here. And I use this standard definitive estimation. My outcome variable is how many patents the inventor has over a 3-year window between and including years T and T+1 of this treatment and post-dummy. And also the tenure variable means the number of years that have passed since the inventor I's first successful patent application. I included several fixed effects and the standard errors are clustered at state and year level. And due to the outcome variable, which is a count variable, so I use this pseudo maximum likelihood estimation. And here is the main.
The treatment here, sorry, it's still based on the binary county here or not. Is there any reason not to use a more continuous measure of exposure? I mean, it's sort of property level, I understand there may be broader,
Yes.
maybe your house is nearby or something, but.
Yes, it's still in my to-do list.
Okay.
I will do that. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and here is my main result. So the first 2 columns are for green patents, and we can see from here Katrina had a significantly negative effects on inventors' production of green patents. And if we focus on column 2, the point estimate means that if Katrina had not occurred, treated inventors, they could have produced additionally 0.22 green patents. And if we compare to the mean of dependent variable before Katrina, that is 0.053, this number could translate into a potential 415% increase. And column 3 and 4 are for non-green patents. And there's no significant effect of Katrina on non-green patents. And the point estimates are neither economically nor statistically significant. And I have also done the dynamic analysis here. The upper panel is for green patents, and we can see the point estimates before Katrina. They are not significantly different from 0. After Katrina, it first dropped below 0, and it decreases to the lowest point in 2008. Afterwards, it jumps back, and in 2011, it is no longer significantly different from 0. And the bottom panel is for non-green patents. No matter before or after Katrina, the point estimates are quite close to 0. And then about the mechanism. So why did Katrina have such differential effects? When I first started, I expected that to encourage innovation. However, it is a disruptive event, I guess, and it can constrain inventors' research methods and therefore reduce all of the innovation output. But the negative effect may be different for green and non-green. Yes, so the existing literature, they find that green innovation draws on knowledge from a wider range of technological areas, as demonstrated by the patent classes they cite, like larger number of patent classes, greater dispersion, and also higher degree of difference. So from here, I argue inventors within a green innovation team, they often possess a wider range of technological expertise. So if a natural disaster event strikes one individual inventor within a green innovation team, it will be harder to continue this affected inventor's technology has. Yes.
If you put this green element aside, are there papers showing that this lack of substitutability means that innovation is more prone to breaking down with some disruption? Because if not, then in a way you could, like, you don't need the green thing, right? It seems like the most interesting point here is this knowledge diversity thing. And then if you just you show the links, whether it's within the teams or outside of the teams, as Claire mentioned, and you can put that at the very front with the table, and that would hit Bruno's point. If you can show that, you don't have to draw the link with climate change necessarily.
Yes. Yes, I in my paper I've done the exercise, like if I just leave green and then just focus on the technological distance, the measurement I constructed, I indeed find evidence that more more distant, yeah, they have a more negative effects here. Yes, I identify that, yeah.
Just hold
For
on.
sure. Yeah, we can talk more afterward. I had this question over and over again. I didn't have I don't know how to resolve it. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Quick question, do we know how much it takes a more diverse team to push out a patent? As in, you know, the diagram you were showing us shows that there's some sort of reversion back and at some point the effect is zero. Could it just be because people are researching in the meantime and they're just not posting out a patent because they're doing the research rather than because, you know, it's not Katrina, it's just maybe it did inspire me to do the research, but it takes me time to bring it to the market. Especially because there is all of this diversity rather than,
You mean like in general, but not about green innovation?
yeah. Take Alan's point, like this is just diversity of the team versus non-diversity of the team. Within that, does a diverse team need longer to push out a patent?
Longer.
For whatever reason, like do we have some data that shows us this or not?
Well, you mean diverse teams, they live longer?
They take
After
longer to bring a patent to the market.
Oh, you mean diverse team, they need more production time? Yeah, that's the data limitation, like, because they are the patent data, so I only know them really file the patent, like it's the final stage.
Yeah, I just wonder if you could use maybe, I don't know, we can talk about this later, but like
Yes,
some
that would-
newspaper announcement
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
that does that.
Yeah, we can help. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have much to left because I know I don't have time. So basically, I follow to test the mechanism I just proposed. I constructed a measurement of technological distance, and I find that the distance is greater within a green patent team compared to a non-green one, and also consistently find that the negative effects of Katrina are more pronounced for patents produced by teams with greater technological distance, and also by inventors who worked with more technologically distant collaborators before Katrina. And alternatively, I consider the role that firms play here. But yeah, the hypothesis is maybe is the differential effects at firm level that translate into the differential effects at inventor level. But I do not find the differential effects of Katrina at firm level. And yeah, so this paper finds that Katrina had differential effects on inventors. It reduced green patent production. However, non-green patents remain unaffected. And currently, the evidence so far I have found, they suggest the differential effects seem to be driven by knowledge diversity. And it doesn't support the hypothesis that firms drive the differential effects. And yes, and then the implication, I think my paper suggests two paradoxes here. One is the climate change can hinder the development of green innovations through natural disasters, while green innovation is quite crucial for addressing climate challenges. And the second one is knowledge diversity, which is often considered valuable for producing novel innovation, may compromise the resilience of technology developments. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. I think it's pretty cool. On the team stuff,
Yes.
actually, wait, let me do the other one first. So my first comment is that if the green, suppose that all the green and the dirty innovations are done by different people, then could this be driven by Hurricane Katrina having different effects on green, like the green inventors themselves, as in they were more likely to be more negatively impacted? Suppose that green innovators are younger, they're more likely to rent their house, they're less likely to own their house. They therefore didn't get as big insurance payouts. They were forced to move. The hurricane was more disruptive for them. They don't patent because they've been like hugely disrupted, whereas the richer, like more established inventors who do dirty patents got a big payout from FEMA. They weren't as disrupted. And so this isn't about the technology they're producing, it's about the people themselves. And so yeah, that's like That's one question I had.
So are you trying to say green inventors who produce green patents and inventors who produce non-green patents, they are, systematically different,
There are
right?
different people and systematically differently impacted by Hurricane Katrina.
So possible, but my research design here is I control the same inventors, their green and the non-green patent output. And for that one, I think maybe I could possibly to check from my data, like whether they are different in the way that you described. Yeah.
Maybe it would be instead of just showing us like for the whole sample the results for green and non-green, like splitting the sample by did they historically patent green or historically patent not, and
Maybe
show
before the shock.
And then
could do
showing
that.
us like amongst the green innovative sample what happens to them, and then amongst they're probably going to show the same thing, but it would like more clearly separate
Yeah, I
out
could
as
do
being.
that. Yeah.
And but then I would also be really interested to know the migration results for those two groups. So like, do you? I don't know. You can maybe I don't know if the other hurricane there's so many Hurricane Katrina papers that have studied labor market mobility, and maybe you could use
Yes.
the data that they use.
And for the migrant one, I actually I did a heterogeneous effect examination of that. I find inventors who moved after Katrina and who did not move after Katrina, as long as I can trace them, there is no differential effect between them.
It's really interesting because that's totally different to all the other labor market results for Hurricane Katrina. And every other Hurricane Katrina paper shows that the people who leave and the people who stay have super different labor market outcomes. So it'd be like really interesting if the inventors are totally different.
Yeah. Thank you.